All right, let's jump right into this explainer. If you're a marketing agency owner, you are going to want to pay very close attention to this one, because today we're zeroing in on a massive, almost entirely untapped revenue opportunity that's probably sitting right under your B2B clients' noses. We are talking about building go-high-level retention systems, specifically designed for insurance agencies. If you've spent all your time just pitching lead generation, selling ads, well, we're going to look at how building a retention engine can actually become your agency's most undeniable, profitable service offering.
To really grasp the sheer scale of this opportunity, let's look at a real-world case study. Picture an independent insurance agency down in Texas. On paper, they looked incredibly successful. They boasted a really healthy, robust roster of 1,247 active clients. And if you know this space, getting to that number takes years of grinding, heavy ad spend, and just relentless networking. They'd done the hard part, right? They actually acquired the customers. But what happens next is just staggering.
Here is where the story takes a pretty dark turn. Despite all that blood, sweat, and tears to acquire those clients, they were bleeding revenue. Every single renewal cycle, 35 to 40% of these clients were quietly walking out the back door. And the crazy thing is, they weren't leaving because of some massive argument or terrible service. They were just slipping away, forcing the agency to stay on this exhausting treadmill of generating new leads just to maintain their baseline revenue. We call this the invisible revenue leak. When you actually dig in and investigate why this massive churn is happening, it is rarely a relationship failure. The data tells us a very clear, very simple story. Clients leave because of a complete lack of proactive communication. The client just assumes the agency didn't really care about their business anymore because, well, nobody reached out. It's totally silent. The renewal date just comes and goes, and the client goes right along with it.
The root of this whole mess? It's the industry's default operating system. The old way, which our Texas agency was absolutely guilty of using, is basically just a frantic manual scramble. We're talking a single letter or maybe an email fired off just 14 days before the policy expires. Compare that to the new way, which is the system you're going to build for them. It's a sleek, multi-channel, completely automated workflow that kicks off a full 90 days out. You are literally replacing chaos with strategy.
So why does that old method fail so spectacularly? Well, it's what we call the 14-day trap. Just imagine you're a small business owner and your insurance agent drops a 20% rate hike on your desk with only 2 weeks' notice. What's your immediate reaction? You panic, right? You don't have the time to budget for it, so you immediately start shopping around at competitors. That 14-day manual scramble practically forces the client to look elsewhere. It completely destroys retention.
And that right there is exactly where you step in. As a marketing agency owner, you're not just the ads person anymore. You become the architect. You have the power to step in and fix this massive foundational flaw using a GoHighLevel automated pipeline. You're taking a fragile process that used to just live in the head of a really busy receptionist, and you're turning it into a bulletproof automated CRM machine that just hums along 24/7. So let's actually map this out. This is the CRM workflow you'll be architecting. It's a 6-step automated solution perfectly mapped across the calendar. It kicks off at 90 days with an SMS, flows into an early renewal email at 60 days, assigns a highly targeted agent call task at 30 days, pushes a final reminder at 14 days, and then splits right at expiration. It either goes into a win-back sequence for the folks who lapsed or a thank you and referral campaign for the ones who renewed. Let's zoom in on those early outreach phases, because this is where the magic happens. At 90 days, the system fires off an automated SMS, just giving the client a friendly heads up on market rates. It's highly consultative. Then at 60 days, an early renewal email triggers, offering a proactive coverage review. The brilliance of this, it addresses price objections and sets clear expectations long before the client ever thinks about opening a new tab to Google a competitor. You are completely controlling the narrative. Moving down the pipeline, the system gets incredibly smart right at the 30-day mark. Instead of the insurance agent manually dialing all 1,247 clients, GoHighLevel just creates an automated task for the agent to call only the clients who haven't engaged yet. It saves them a massive amount of time, meaning human intervention is only used when it's genuinely needed. Then, at 14 days, if they still haven't signed the dotted line, a final automated safety net reminder goes out.
Finally, we hit the fork in the road at expiration. If a policy expires, the client isn't just tossed in the trash. They're automatically dropped into a win-back drip sequence. But for the renewals, which is going to be the vast majority now, they instantly get a thank you message and an automated request for a Google review.
You're taking happy, retained clients and instantly turning them into a referral engine. What you've just built for your client is a year-round active relationship. And listen, here's the massive selling point for your agency when pitching this. Insurance agents currently spend almost 40% of their working hours on manual follow-up. This GHL system creates all this continuous engagement, requiring absolutely zero extra manual hours from their staff. The software does the heavy lifting, and the agents? They get to focus on actually closing new policies.
Section 1. The payoff. Halting the churn.
Okay, let's look at the payoff. Remember our baseline? The Texas agency started with 1,247 clients, with a huge chunk of them constantly falling through the cracks of that messy 14-day manual scramble. Well, we took all 1,247 of those clients and put them straight into the newly architected 90-day retention timeline we just walked through. The automated engagement was just wild. Out of that total client base, 834 clients interacted with the system. They were reading the emails, clicking the SMS links, replying to texts, all before their actual expiration date even arrived. That is literally hundreds of conversations initiated, and not a single insurance agent had to pick up a phone or manually type out an email to start them. Under their old manual method, they were sitting at a really painful 63% retention rate. After rolling out the GHL system, that number rocketed up to a highly profitable 84%. They completely patched the silent leak, and they did it just by changing the timing and automating their communication. When you are pitching this to your own prospects, break down the math for them like this. Going from 63 to 84% retention is not a vanity metric. For this specific agency, that jump translated to exactly 261 more policies saved from lapsing. That's 261 clients who stayed put instead of jumping to a competitor, all because a piece of software sent them a well-timed text message. And here is the ultimate ROI punchline. This is the number you put in big, bold font on your proposal. Securing those 261 renewals generated a staggering $340,000 in extra retained revenue for that agency. No extra ad spend, no new lead generation costs, just pure operational discipline fueled by the GHL architecture you built for them. Section 2. Retention beats lead generation. This brings us to a huge mindset shift for you. For years, the default agency pitch has been, hey, I'll get you more leads. But let's be real, leads are expensive and conversion rates are totally variable. When you shift to the massive profitability of revenue protection, it changes everything. Look at the comparison. Lead gen, high cost because of ad spend, the ROI takes months, and client trust goes up and down. But a GHL retention system? The cost is low because it's just automation. The ROI timeline is literally immediate as soon as that first renewal cycle hits, and client trust goes through the roof because you're protecting the money they've already made. It's just an easier, faster win. So to wrap this up, why should you start selling these GHL pipelines? Number one, you're solving an invisible, multi-$100,000 problem that most owners don't even know how to fix. Number two, it requires zero ad spend, which really protects your margins. 3, it scales infinitely without adding a single dime to your client's payroll. And finally, it makes you totally indispensable. You're not just an ad vendor that they can swap out, you are their revenue protection partner. I want to leave you with this final thought, just to let the gravity of this whole thing sink in. Your client may already have the customers. Your job is to build the system that helps them keep them. You've got to stop letting their revenue slip out the back door. Master this automation, get out there and build your first retention pipeline, and watch how it completely transforms their business and yours. Think about it. If you could hand an extra $340,000 to your best